here.
What do you say to Republicans who are saying that there's no need for any sort of authorization here, because this is not unlike what happened in Libya when there was no congressional authorization during those attacks, and the Democrats didn't raise a fuss back then?
We did raise a fuss. I mean, many of us publicly called for there to be a war authorization debate, so check the record. This is the most significant military action that this country has taken since the Iraq War. It is much bigger and will be much bigger than Libya. They told us in there that this is an open-ended operation that hasn't even really started in earnest yet. There will be more Americans killed. They refuse to take off the table the insertion of ground troops. This is going to make the operation in Libya look like child's play. There is no question this is war. They have contempt for the American people. They have contempt for the American people because they think that they can carry out the biggest war in the Middle East since Iraq and Afghanistan without a single vote, without a single discussion in the public. I was just shocked by the way in which they, A, are dismissing the role that the American people play in deciding when we go to war, and how clearly committed they are to an open-ended engagement with no end in sight.
If the war powers vote fails, what can Democrats do? What can Congress do to stop the president from engaging?
We shouldn't be acting like this is business as usual. We shouldn't be proceeding to legislation, providing votes to proceed to legislation until they put an authorization for military force on the floor of the United States Senate. This is as serious as it gets. This is war and peace. They told us in that room that there are going to be more Americans that are going to die, that they are not in the short run going to be able to stop these drones that are going to continue to fly into the Middle East. We have to have a debate in the United States Senate on an authorization of military force. It will likely fail. It will likely fail, and we shouldn't be voting to proceed to other pieces of legislation until we get a debate on this deeply unpopular, immoral, and illegal war with Iran.
Wouldn't the AUMF of 2001 cover this anyway?
No.
Why not?
No.
I mean,
Senator Fetterman was just here, and I asked him why he's the only Democrat who's praising these strikes and also the only Democrat committed to voting against the War Powers Resolution. He said it's because I'm not afraid of my base.
Well, the last poll said that 75% of the American public don't want war with Iran. The American people do not want the United States going back into war in the Middle East. The Republican base doesn't want this. The Democratic base doesn't want this. Independent voters don't want this. Nobody in America is asking for their gas prices, their grocery prices, their construction prices to go through the roof. Nobody's asking in this country for more American soldiers to die in a war of choice in the Middle East. This isn't a question of, a political analysis of one party versus another. This is the American people saying clearly they don't want this. That's why we should have a vote, because I think it's a really difficult vote, much more difficult than a war powers vote, for senators to go on the record and proactively say they want war with Iran. If that vote comes before the Senate, I don't think it can get passed.
So you said they described an open-ended conflict. What can you say about the objective in terms of the end game, what the end game is, how much it will cost, and how much damage Americans will sustain in their assets overseas?
I have no idea what the objective is, and I didn't get any additional clarity. They said what they have said publicly, that they are going after certain weapons systems. But if you don't remove the leadership and the same people stay in charge, they will just rebuild those destroyed weapons systems. The only alternative is to literally run constant overflights, constant bombing campaigns, which would bankrupt the United States and end up with a lot of Americans getting killed. There's no history of an air campaign only being able to accomplish the objectives that they are listing. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.